Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Let us wait for some time.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Rama. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare Rama,
Hare Krishna, Radhika Mataji, Samyukta Mataji, Sapan Prabhu, Srila Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam. Hallelujah, Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Thank you so much for joining today. Let us have Mangalacharana prayer and we'll start. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatirmirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Vrishthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vranda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukhaṁ karoti vācālam pangum langayate girim yatkripatamaham vande Shri Gurum Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Sri Chaitanya Ishwaram Om apavitra pavitro va sarvavastam gatopi va Yasmaret pundarikaksham sabhyabhyantaram suchihi Shri Vishnu Shri Vishnu Shri Vishnu. Let me share. Hare Krishna, Pallavi Mataji. Thank you very much for joining today.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Yeah. We are at this paragraph, so let me expand. The 82nd page, we are 83rd, 84. The tendency is there to want to become the greatest. Yeah. Yeah. We are here, okay? We have done up to this paragraph, so let us start. Yeah, Pallavi Mataji, we start joining. Hare Krishna, Mataji. Samyukta Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
We are from the Vedic literature.
Yes, Prabhuji. Okay. We understand from Vedic literature that Brahman or the spirit is Enor Aniyamsham, smaller than an atom, and Mahato Mahiyamsham, greater than the greatest. As far as we can conceive, the space which contains the universe is the greatest. But Krishna has shown millions of universes in his mouth. The greatness of God cannot be comprehended by the living entities who are part and parcel of God. As living entities, we are very minute, infinitesimal, and God is infinite. Indeed, the magnitude of the individual spirit soul is so microscopic that it cannot be seen. One cannot even imagine it with his material senses. Therefore, it is said that the spirit soul is smaller than an atom, Anor Aniyamsham. Since the living entities and Krishna, the Supreme Lord, are both spirit, they are qualitatively one. Quantitatively, however, the Lord is great and the living entities are small. This fact can be accepted immediately on the basis of Vedic information. In Brahma Samhita, it is stated, Yasyaika Nishvasita Kala Mathavalamya Yasyaika Nishvasita Kala Mathavalamya Jivanti Loma Vilaja Jagadandanatha. Many millions of universes come out of God's body when he exhales, and they again disappear when he inhales. Simply by his breathing, millions of universes are created and dissolved. If this is the case, then how can the living entities claim proprietorship over anything? One's position is safe only in so far as he does not falsely declare himself to be God or proprietor. It has become fashionable to claim to be God, and fools accept such claims. But from the Vedic literatures, we understand that God is not so cheap. As long as we are not making puffed up, ego centered claims, we are already liberated. There is no need to actually seek liberation. But as long as one thinks, I am this body, he is not liberated. Liberation means knowing perfectly well that oneself is separated from the body. Therefore, Sukadev Goswami said, Prayaschittam Vimarshanam. Develop your knowledge that will give you relief. Our knowledge is perfect when we come to know that we are very small particles of spiritual sparks and that God, the Supreme, the greatest spiritual identity, supplies all our necessities. Eko Bahunamyo Vidanti Kaman. By knowing ourselves as minute particles, part and parcel of God, we can understand that our duty is to serve God. God is the center of all creation of the whole universal body. He is the enjoyer and we are his servitors. As this conception becomes clear, we become liberated. Shall I read, Prabhuji?
Thank you, Mataji. Yeah, let us give it to.
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you. Thank you. So, Aniyar, Mahyan. That means we are very small, which cannot be seen any equipment microbioscope, telescope, a microscope. So minute, and it has given the size of the spirit soul in the Vedic literature. Keshagra, Khanda Keshagra. That means tip of the hair, if we cut into pieces into not 100th part, 10,000 tip of the part hair. We cannot imagine actually. Our mind is very limited. It's unimaginable. Okay, so that, but still, soul's size is defined, and which cannot be seen through any equipment, any instrument like that. So it's called, that's where we are part and parcel of Krishna. He is great, we are small. So there is a philosophy, Achintya Beda Beda Sattva, Beda Beda Tattva. We are qualitatively one with Krishna, but quantitatively different. How can we understand? For example, we are qualitatively, the quality like Satchidananda Vigraha, Satya Chitta Ananda potencies are there for the spirit soul. That is the quality Krishna also have, super soul. But quantitatively different. He is situated in all the living entities and Chara Achara, not only in living entities, Achara, which is not moving. So that's where quantitatively is different and is great. We are small and limited to our bodies. It's called Achintya Beda Beda. That's where Aniyor Aniyar, Mahiyor Mahya. Aniyor Aniyamsam, Mahatu Mahiyamsham. Anar Aniyamsham, Mahato Mahiyamsham. Smaller than an atom and greater than the greatest. Yeah, we are very minute, infinitesimal, and God is infinite. Yes. And wonderful verse quoted from Brahma Samhita is the great. How can we understand his greatness? Brahma Samhita says, Yasyaika Nisvasita Kalam Atavalambya Jivanti Loma Vilaja Jagadandanada. Many millions of universes come out of God's body when he exhales and they again disappears when he inhales. We have seen this pastime, Yashoda Maya, when Krishna ate mud. Suddenly, Yashoda Maya seen when Krishna opens mouth, all the universes in his mouth. So Krishna's, that's why Krishna is Supreme Personality of God is greatest. Because he is the creator. Simply by his breathing, millions of universes are created and dissolved. If this is the case, then how can the living entities claim proprietorship over anything? One's position is safe only insofar as he does not falsely declare himself to be God or proprietor. It has become fashionable to claim to be God, but fools accept such claims. But from Vedic literature, we understand that God is not so cheap. Right? So there is one Eko Bahunam Yo Vidadati Kaman. Only that person, Eko Bahunam Yo Vidadati Kaman, is the doer of everything. Eko Bahunam. So, this one, our knowledge is perfect when we come to know that we are very small particles of spiritual sparks and that God, the Supreme, the greatest spiritual identity, supplies all our necessities. Eko Bahunam Yo Vidadati Kaman. By knowing ourselves as minute particles, part and parcel of God, we can understand that our duty is to serve God. God is the center of all creation, of the whole universal body. He is the enjoyer and we are servator. As this conception becomes clear, we become liberated. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Therefore, Sukadeva Goswami said, Prayaschittam Vimarshanam. Develop your knowledge that will give you relief. Our knowledge is perfect when we come to know that we are very small particles of spiritual spark. We always have to introspect ourselves to understand, like, in this creation, how is to talk about how this body is developed. Right, in this material, it's growing nature. One of the 6 changes of the body is a growing. So in the material world is everything how the metal world is working, how these metal elements are working in our body, Panchabhuta, Bhumira Ponalo Vayu, and Sukshma Shariram, that is the subtle body, mind, intelligence, and false ego. These are the elements. There are 24 elements. Previously, we were discussed also. 24 elements along with the soul and super soul. That is what creation all about. So 24 elements in our body, how it is working. Let us say, think about, we live on the earth, we breathe, we take water, we need fire, and we are under the sky. So in his creation, we have to understand our position. We are just survivors. Krishna has given this body and utilized for his purpose. Yeah, thank you very much, Mataji, again. So, Pallavi Mataji, would you like to read?
Yeah, Prabhuji. Liberation entails freedom from all false conceptions. It is not that upon liberation one acquires 10 hands. In Srimad Bhagavatam, liberation is defined as muktir hitvanyatha rupam. Mukti means to give up, and anyatha rupam denotes a false conception of life. This is to say that when one is situated in his original constitutional position, having given up all false notions, he is liberated. It is also said in Srimad Bhagavatam that by the acquisition of knowledge, one becomes liberated immediately. That knowledge can be very easily acquired, for it is simple. God is great and I am very small. He is the supreme proprietor supplying all necessities, and I am his servant. Who can challenge this? It is a fact. We are simply false impression that we are this or that, and this leads us to the ultimate false impression that we are God. Yet we do not consider what manner of God we are. A small bodily disorder will send us to the physician. One who claims to be the supreme, therefore, should be understood to have fallen to the last snare of Maya. One who is thus fallen cannot even be liberated, for he is bound by false impressions. Only one has attained proper knowledge can he actually be liberated. The stage of liberation is also called the Brahma Bhuta stage. One who has attained this stage is characterized by Sri Krishna in Bhagavad Gita in this way. Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma na sochati na kankshati samaha sarveshu bhuteshu mad bhaktim labate param. One who is thus transcendentally situated at once realizes the supreme Brahman. He never laments or desires to have anything. He is equally disposed to every living entity. And in that state, he achieves pure devotional service unto me. Bhagavad Gita 18.5. The joy which follows realization arises from understanding. I was illusioned by false notions for so long. What a fool I was. I was thinking that I was God, but now I can understand that I am God's eternal servant. Upon gaining such realization, one attains liberation and becomes prasannatma or jolly, for this is the constitutional position of the living entity. Continue, Jai Mandar Prabhuji, aap mandar.
Continue, Jai.
There is no lamentation when one is in pure consciousness, for he knows that he is a small part, a spiritual spark protected by the Supreme Lord. Where then is there scope for lamentation? A small child feels free as long as he knows that his father is there. He thinks, my father is standing by me, so I am free. No one can harm me. Similarly, when one surrenders to Krishna, he has complete faith that he is not in danger because Krishna is protecting him. One who is thus surrendered to Krishna is not subject to lamentation or desire, whereas one who is not God conscious simply hankers and laments. He hankers for that which he does not possess, and he laments for that which he did possess but he has lost. A God conscious person is not subject to such misery. If something is lost, he knows that if God's wish and he thinks it's God's wish and he thinks God desired this, so it's all right. He does not desire anything, for he knows that all his necessities are being provided by Krishna, the Supreme Father. As soon as one understands his relationship to God, he realizes universal brotherhood, For he understands that all men and animals, indeed all life itself, are all parts of the supreme whole and are therefore all equal. Seeing this, one does not envy, exploit, or trouble another living entity. Thus, one who is a devotee of Krishna automatically develops all good qualities, for he is in the proper consciousness. Hara abhaksya kuto mahadguna mano ratenasti dhavato bahi. One who has developed Krishna consciousness will manifest all the good qualities of demigods. Indeed, it is stated, Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya evacha. A Vaishnava or devotee of Krishna is an ocean of mercy to others. He gives the greatest gift to society, for society is in dire need of God consciousness. A Vaishnava bestows the priceless gift of Mahamantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Simply by chanting this mantra, one can remain in a liberated state.
Thank you very much, Mataji. Yes.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Two important verses mentioned in this, paragraphs in this purports by Srila Prabhupada. There is one important prayer in Bhagavatam, actually. So this one, Muktir Hitva Nyata Rupam. Mukti means to give up. Anyata Rupam denotes a false conception of life. So liberation entails, what is that liberation? Liberation entails freedom from false conception. It is not that upon liberation one acquires 10 hands. Liberation defined as Muktir Hitva Anyata Rupam. Mukti means to give up, and Anyata Rupam denotes a false conception of. This is to say that when one is situated in his original constitutional position, whenever we see original constitutional position, Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is in wonderful teachings. Jivera Swarupahe Krishnera Nityadas. We always have to, we never ever become servant, master, even in this material world also. Either we are serving our family, either we are serving to our boss, either we are serving to nation. Think about it, right? So similarly, in spiritual life, we are always servants. Jivera Swarupa, our Swarupa, our constitutional position. Jivera Swarupa Hoi, Krishnera Nityadas. Nityadas. Das means servant. Nityadas, eternal servant of Supreme Lord Krishna. And that is the safest position. Many times I also quoted that. It is the safest position. Tulsi Maharani, every day in our temples, after Narsinga prayer, after first Samsara Dara, then Samsara Dava, then Narsinga prayer, then next we sing this Tulsi Maharani prayer every day in our temples, in our homes also. Seva adhikara diyo koro nijadasi. Seva adhikara diye koro nijadasi. Seva adhikara. What is the authority I have to approach Supreme Lord?
Prabhuji, found out, Prabhuji. Constitutional position means what, Prabhuji?
Our identity, our relationship with Krishna, our position. Yeah, our position, our activity. We can understand. Constitutional position means our identity, our relationship with Krishna, and what is that activity? Servitorship, service, servant. Jivera Swarupa hai Krishna Nityadas. Krishna is the master, and we are all servants to Supreme Lord. And that's the understanding, Mataji. Yeah, that is a constitutional position of a living entity. So, yeah, that service can. Yes.
Shall I add in this, Prabhuji? Okay.
Yes. Add. Yes.
Okay. So constitution. So basically, the dharma that is stated in Bhagavad Gita. So that's what is there, and that's what Prabhuji is mentioning about. That our dharma is service as a human being. So, for example, constitutional position of sugar is to give sweetness. For salt is to give salt. So that's the original which cannot be changed. Original position which cannot be changed. So similarly, soul's constitutional position is to serve. And whom to serve? is, that's what Prabhuji is saying, that we are always serving either our spouse or children or grandparents or parents. And so we need to see, okay, whom are we serving? So that's what, and people have various interests and they can serve themselves, like it is self-centered, so they can just serve themselves. They can serve their families, they can serve society, they can serve nation or international, or they can serve God. So that's how you progress in your consciousness with respect to the constitutional. Like constitutional position remains same, but your consciousness changes or expands.
Say here in reference, like whenever we do our dharma properly, that is serving Krishna, the soul will be liberated. That's what that sentence means, right, Prabhuji? So, as Sunil Prabhuji said, that serving our soul's constitutional position is like doing our dharma. So
Correct.
here we have come here to perform dharma like serving Krishna. So if we are serving Krishna, the soul will be liberated. So yeah, that's what.
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
Got it, Prabhuji.
Yes. Prabhuji given, wonderful. I couldn't recall that. What is the dharma of sugar, sweetness, right? What is the quality of water, liquidity? Never separable. Our inseparable activity is service to Krishna. But because we are, we don't want to serve there, we come to this material platform. And here that's the propensity, claiming ourselves to be controller, proprietor, enjoymentship. So when the service is there, these three things won't be there. I mean, that's the problem. We come to this material platform. That's why we have to re-establish our relationship with Krishna in the service. You got the two examples. Prabhupada only gives these two examples. And fire also. Fire comes, what is the fire's dharma? It comes from, what comes from fire? Heat and light, right? Heat and light. And it's never separable, inseparable. These examples given by Srila Prabhupada in his purpose: fire, water, and sugar. Their dharma is to understand, and it's a kind of analogy. Our dharma is we always have in the service. We are never ever become masters. We are servants only. We wanted to become master. That's why Krishna sent this beautiful place, material world. It's a beautiful in terms of these sufferings. That's where we have to get rid of all these problems just to simply serve Supreme Lord. That's it. We go back to how to serve Supreme Lord. And you ended with Hare Krishna mantra. So that is a service we have to adopt. In these last lines, that will become liberated. So one can remain in a liberated state. He gives the greatest gift to society, for society in dire need of God consciousness. A Vaishnava bestows the priceless gift of the Maha Mantra. By chanting, we establish connection with Krishna and serving. Chanting is a service. Again, but how can we understand chanting is a service? Because our senses are using for the pleasure of Krishna, our mind, our tongue, our ear, by reciting holy names. One more verse Prabhupada quoted in this connection, like liberated state. Brahmabhuta prasannatma nasochati na kankshati. Nasochati, laments, and kankshati, wanting, desiring. In that stage, so problem with sochati. Problem with kankshati. We lose some things and we laments. And we wanted to have something, but we won't get. And then again, kankshati, desiring to have anything. He is equally disposed to every living entity, and in that state he achieves pure devotional service unto me. Brahmabhuta stage. So how can we develop that Brahmabhuta stage? By continually adapting the principles of devotional life. To start with chanting the holy names every day. The joy which follows realization arises from understanding. I was illusioned by false notions for so long. What a fool I was. I was thinking that I was God. But now I understand that I am God's eternal servant. we are completely dependent on his Krishna's energies actually, but false ego throws us to become like God and enjoy like him. That's where the sufferings. Yeah. Krishna is, let us see a few points. One who is thus surrendered to Krishna is not subject to lamentation or desire. Whereas one who is not God conscious simply anchors and laments. He anchors for, see, that is the thing. He anchors for that which he does not possess. He wanted to have. And he laments for that which he did possess but has lost. Two things only. Why we are getting distressed in this condition, like wantings, laments. A God conscious person is not subject to such misery. If something is lost, he knows that it is God's wish, and he thinks God desired this, so it is all right. So our stage, Brahmavata stage, he does not desire anything, for he knows that all his necessities are being provided by Krishna, the Supreme Father. So beautiful. One important verse from another text. Harau abhaktasya kuto mahadguna manorate nastati dhavato bahihi. One who has developed Krishna consciousness will manifest all the good qualities. That's where very, very rarely we find devotees in this material world. There are 7 or 8 billion people in this material world. How many people are really practicing devotional life, having this? It's very rare. 99.9% of the people under the clutches of modes of material nature, they are completely in the materialistic way of life. Very less percent, very minute 1%. Not there. So that's the thing. That's where Vancha Kalpatarubhya. So we have a Vaishnava etiquette, any program, anything, any devotees we meet, we pay obeisances to them, like say the Vancha Kalpatarubhya Kripa Sindhu Bevacha. Because it endowed with good qualities. The meaning of the Vancha Kalpatarubhya goes like this, let us offer our humble obeisances to all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord, who are just like desire trees and who can fulfill all desires, and who are full of compassion for the fallen conditioned souls. That is the nature of a devotee. Compassionate, desiratory, vanchakalpatarubhyascha, krupa sindhu bevacha, compassionate. So all the good qualities can be experienced in a person's devotee's body. So that's the thing. Yeah. We have a great gift. That's why Krishna consciousness is the matchless gift. No price. Priceless gift of the Mahamantra we have. Yes. Yeah. Now Prabhu, Sunil Prabhuji, you can continue from here. Thank you for joining again and adding also. I couldn't recall that one, but nice. Thank you. You can continue, Prabhu, from here.
Thank you, Prabhu. One should not think, however, that this state is simply a state of trance, whereby one remains seated in lotus position in a corner for days on end. No, liberations mean serving. One cannot simply say, now I have dedicated my life to Krishna, let me remain seated in Samadhi. The standard of surrender must be maintained by Ni Sevaya, serving. As one serves the Supreme Lord, the Lord reveals himself within the heart. The program of devotional service to the Lord is executed from morning to night. Indeed, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that one must engage in devotional service to him 24 hours a day. It is not that we should meditate for 15 minutes and then engage in all kinds of nonsense. The more we serve, the more dedicated to Krishna we become. Therefore, a person should utilize whatever talent he has for Krishna. There are 9 processes of devotional service: hearing, chanting, remembering, serving, worshipping the deity in the temple, praying, carrying out orders, serving the Lord as friend, and sacrificing everything for him. And one should always keep engaged in at least one of these 9 processes. One who is always engaged in Krishna's service never becomes disgusted. Bhajatam priti purvakam. Service must be rendered with love, but in the beginning this may be difficult, and so one may become disgusted. As one makes progress in Krishna service, however, he will find it pleasing. This is indicated by Krishna in Bhagavad Gita. Yat tad agre visam eva pariname amarto pamam tat sukham satvikam proktam atma buddhi prasada jam. That which is in the beginning may be just like poison, but at the end is like nectar, and which awakens one to self-realization is said to be happiness in the mode of goodness. Bhagavad Gita 18.37. Shall I continue?
Continue. Yeah,
Once,
this was
once one has attained the spiritual platform, it is material service that actually becomes disgusting. For example, if one chants Hare Krishna throughout his life, he will not grow tired of the name. But if one chants a material name over and over, he will soon become disgusted. The more one chants the names of Krishna, the more he becomes attached. The service by Sarvanam and Kirtanam, hearing and chanting about Krishna, is the beginning. The next process is Smaranam, always remembering Krishna. When one is perfect in chanting and hearing, he will always remember Krishna. In the third stage, he becomes the greatest yogi.
Thank you,
Shall I
Prabhuji.
continue? Okay.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. Yes. So this is the thing. So that is what it is. See, to take up the devotional service in the beginning is just like, we won't shown interest in the beginning, but if we repeatedly try, chanting every day 2 hours, think about it, how can we do this every day 2 hours? Actually, Satatam Kirtayanta, Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Satatam Kirtayanto Mam Yatantasya Drudhavrata Namasyantasya Mam Bhaktya Nitya Yukta Upasate. Satatam means always. Always means in this material world there is a time, 24 hours, 1 week, 30 days, months, years, like that. 24 hours, I mean, simple to understand. Every day, 24 hours we have. Always think about Krishna, never forgets him. Manmana bhava madbhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru. 2 times says in the Bhagavad Gita. That same 2 lines. Manmana bhava madbhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru. Manmana bhava madbhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru. Mame vaisa yuktva atmanam matparayana. Manmana bhava madbhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru. Mame vaisa satyamti pratijane priyosime. So 9th chapter and the middle of 9 chapters, total 18 chapters we have in the Bhagavad Gita. In the 9th chapter and the last chapter, 18th chapter. 9th chapter 34 verse, 18th chapter 65 verse. Same, what is saying? Always think about it. Obeisances to me, render services to me. So these things. So in the beginning, I mean, at least to start with, chanting, and over a period of time we have to give good time to Krishna, like 2 hours of every day, 16 rounds of japa. That is needed at least. That is prescribed by Srila Prabhupada. 2 hours of meditation, actually. Every day, 2 hours of meditation. If you sincerely chant the holy names with attentive and with attentiveness and focus on the holy name, that's a very good meditation on the Supreme Lord's lotus feet. We are touching the lotus feet of Supreme Lord when we chant the Hare Krishna mantra. Remember that. And Krishna is going to dance on our tongues. Even though if we are not known, but Krishna, that is stated in the scripture. His Pavitra name. His name is holy name. That's why it's called holy name. So this is said by Krishna himself. In the beginning, it looks like poison. But over time, it's like nectar. That which in the beginning may be just like poison, but at the end, it is like nectar. Tame our mind, train our mind to sit, chant nicely. Very important. Actually, our Krishna consciousness progression depends 99%. How we take up the chanting process every day. Yes. So Krishna himself, in the beginning, it looks like poison, but over time, it gives nectar. We get the happiness later in the beginning. But in the material nature, whatever get the happiness instantly, later, it's going to be, kind of suffering. That which in the beginning may be just like poison, but at the end like nectar, and which awakens to self-realization is said to be happiness in the mode of goodness. 18 chapter 37 verse. So that's the thing. So process is there. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atma Nivedanam. This teaching is given by Prahlad Maharaj, who is a 5-year-old boy, the Supreme Lord's great devotee, is given this instruction. Shravanam, Kirtanam starts with hearing and chanting. So that's the thing. So now let me see another few points here. The standard of surrender must be maintained by Nishevaya, serving. As one serves the Supreme Lord, the Lord reveals himself within the heart. The program of devotion services to the Lord is executed from the morning to night. Indeed, Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita that one must engage in devotional service to him 24 hours a day. It is not that 15 minutes or 20 minutes. See, we have our jobs, we have our family, and we also have a spiritual life. We have to plan properly and every day. Like 24 hours. How can we remember Krishna in 24 hours of time? Possible. Krishna, the Prabhupada has shown an example of in his life. He just slept 2 hours every day. They engaging all of his activities like, writing, reading, and replying to all the disciples' questions and letters, preaching different yoga centers, every morning program, Mangala Arati, Kirtan. So always he engaged cooking. He personally cooks and feeds devotees. How he started? The purity of his cooking, that changes the hearts of the people. He made hippies into happies. We has shown an example actually. It is possible. 24 hours a day we can able to remember Krishna because of we dovetail all the activities to Krishna, keeping Krishna in the center and perform this. Yes, let us continue on from here. Yes. Sapan Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Nor is the progress in Krishna consciousness ever lost. In the material world, if one begins to construct a factory but does not complete it, the factory is useless for all intents and purposes. If the construction is stopped and the building is half finished, whatever money is invested is lost. This is not the case with Krishna consciousness. Even one, if one does not come to the perfectional point, whatever work he does is his permanent asset, and he can begin from that point in his next life. Krishna also confirms in Bhagavad Gita that one who begins Krishna consciousness cannot lose anything. Neha vikramana sosti pratyavayo na vidyate swalpam apiyasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat. In this endeavor, there is no loss or diminution, and a little advancement on this path can protect one from the most dangerous type of fear. Bhagavad Gita 2.40. In the 6th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, when Arjuna asks about the fate of the unsuccessful yogi, Sri Krishna replies, Partha naiveha namutra vinashas tasya vidyate nahi kalyanakrit kaschid durgatim tata gacchati. Son of Pritha, a transcendentalist engaged in auspicious activities does not meet with destruction either.
Yes, continue.
In this world or in the spiritual world, one who does good, my friend, is never overcome by evil. Bhagavad Gita 6.40. The Lord then indicates that the unsuccessful yogi takes up his practice of Krishna consciousness in the next life, beginning from the point where he left off. In other words, if one has finished 50% of the process in one life, in the next life he begins at 51%. Whatever material assets we accumulate in our life, however, are all annihilated at death, for we cannot take material opulence with us. However, one should not think that he will do well to wait for the next life to attain Krishna consciousness. We should try to fulfill the mission of Krishna consciousness in this life. Krishna promises us that one who becomes his devotee will come to him without fail. Manmana madbhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru mam evashyasi satyam te pratijane priyosi me. Always think of me, become my devotee, worship me, and offer your homage unto me. The result is that you will come to me without fail. I promise you this, because you are my very dear friend. Bhagavad Gita 18.65. When we think of coming to Krishna, we should not think that we will be standing before a void or impersonal bright light. Krishna, God, is a person, just as we are persons. Literally, we can understand that our Father is a person, and that his Father is also a person, and that his Father's Father is a person. So, on the back to the Supreme Father, one who must also be a person. This is not very difficult to understand, and it is noteworthy that God is called the Supreme Father, not only in the Vedas, but in the Bible, Quran, and other scriptures. The Vedanta Sutra also confirms that the absolute truth is the original Father from whom everything has taken birth or emanated. This is also confirmed in the Vedas. Nityo Nityanam Chetanas Chetananam Eko Bahunam Yo Vidadati Kaman. The Lord is the supreme eternal amongst all eternals and the supreme living entity among all living entities. He is maintaining all others. The desires and life symptoms displayed by all living entities are simply a reflection of the desires and life symptoms of the Supreme Father. In other words, our desires are born because He has desires, because we are part and parcel of God. We have all the instincts of God in minute quantity. The sex play and sex life, which we see in the material world, is but the perverted reflection of the love that is found in the spiritual world. This world is material because God is forgotten here. But once He is remembered, the world immediately becomes spiritual. In other words, the spiritual world is that place where Krishna is not forgotten. This is also a definition of spiritual world given by Vedic literatures. We must therefore plan our lives in such a way that it will not be possible for us to forget Krishna for a moment. In this way, by engaging in service of Krishna, we will therefore always live in Vaikuntha or Vrindavanam at the abode of Krishna. Continue, Prabhuji.
Yeah, paragraph.
At present, due to our polluted consciousness, we are turning the world into a materialistic and hellish place. And because we are ignorant of our constitutional position, we have created innumerable problems. Just as in dreams, we create so many problems. But in actuality, there are no problems. I may dream that I am a great storm, or that I am being pursued, or that someone is taking my money, or that I am being devoured by a tiger. But actually, these are all creations of my mind. Asango hi ayam purusha iti shrute. The Vedas say that Purusha, the Atma or the soul, has no connection with all its dream-like material activities. Therefore, we must engage in this Krishna consciousness process to awaken from this dreaming condition. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. Yeah, that's the thing. So, Nityo Nityanam Chetanas Chetananam Eko Bahunam Yo Vidadati Kama. The Lord is the supreme eternal among us all eternals, and the supreme living entity among us all living entities. He is maintaining all others. Who is the maintainer? This is the answer. Nityo Nityanam Chetanas Chetananam Eko Bahunam Yo Vidadati Kaman. He is maintaining all the living entities. He is the supreme living entity, supreme Lord. So this is beautiful verse. Previously we recite in our, we say frequently quote. Of course, Srila Prabhupada also frequently quotes this verse. In this endeavor, there is no loss or diminution. And a little advancement on this path can protect one from the most dangerous type of fear. Neha vikramanashosti pratyavano na vidyate swalpam apyasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat. So we see greatest fear in this material world is death. We all have to experience death at one point. But don't worry, I mean, if we render our services to Krishna, it is never lost. It is never lost. It is eternally. That's why it's called eternal bank balance. In our preaching, we say that we have to fill all the auspiciousness, eternal bank balance, every day. Eternal bank balance. It never lasts. Life after life continues. And then where we left the devotion service, next life we can continue. For example, in this life, we won't be able to remember Krishna. At least we get human form, and we will get a birth in aristocratic families or a knowledgeable Brahmanical family. Shritina Srimatangehe, there is one verse. Krishna himself says in the Bhagavad Gita. So that is opportunity is there. So that's where no loss. If we take up the devotion service little, that helps. If we sincerely take seriously, I mean, this is a life and soul kind of thing. If we take up, that's it. This is the only last life we can experience, and we can go back home, back to God and serve Him eternally. So no loss or diminution. Everything is blissful in the spiritual life, and it is adding in our eternal bank. So Krishna consciousness is like that, very priceless gift we have. So we just have to utilize this human form of life, the gift of Krishna consciousness in this human form of life. Partha naive namutra vinastasya vidyate nahi kalyana krit kaschid durgatim tata gaschati. Son of Partha, a transcendentalist engaged in auspicious activity does not meet with destruction either in this world or in the spiritual. One who does good, my friend, is never overcome by evil. 6th chapter, 40th verse. So all the auspiciousness there in the holy name. By chanting the holy names, we get unknowingly. We don't know much how it works, but it works a lot. Nam Namakar Bahuda Nija Sarva Shakti. So much potency is there in the holy name. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's instruction in Sikshastakam. Nam Namakar Bahuda Nija Sarva Shakti. You have different names, Lord Govinda, Krishna, Hare Krishna. So you have invested so much energies in this holy name. That's where Hare Krishna Mahamantra he always resides. Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, 24 hours a day. That's where, spreading the holy name. Towns and villages and cities. Preaching. ISKCON is a preaching institution. We just have to share the knowledge. Once we learn, we just have to share that knowledge. Like that, I benefited. Some people may looking for some, proper knowledge. So that's the thing. Krishna's expectation. This is Krishna's expectation. Always think of me, become my devotee, worship me, offer your homage unto me. The result is that you will come to me without fail. I promise you. This is a pat on the back. He's giving all of us opportunity and is giving pat on the back. I am promising. Pat on the back. There is awards, corporate circle. Pat on the back award. If somebody performs nice, excellent performance in project, for example, they give some awards. Pat on the back, something. Pat on the backs. Bhujam zaravadam anamata. So Bhagavantudu, Krishna is saying that way. If you do this, that's it. Always think of me. Manmana bhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru mame vaisasi satyam te pratijane priyosime. I am there. I promise you this. Put ourselves in the mood of Arjuna, right? Arjuna's mood is devotion with friendly mood. Let us think that way in order to understand Bhagavad Gita. At least friendly mood. Yeah, Krishna is going to speak with me. Krishna is my friend, and I am a devotee of Krishna. So the Bhagavad Gita is going to be nicely received. We can easily understand actually the mood of understanding Bhagavad Gita. Okay. So let us continue from here. And Swapna Mata, as I'm saying you, would you like to do? Yeah, above all the fruitive labors.
Above all the fruitive laborers, speculators, and mystic yogis, and the bhaktas or devotees of Krishna, a bhakta can be perfectly peaceful, whereas the others cannot, because everyone but the bhakta, no one has pure love, has desire. A Shuddha Bhakta is desireless because he is simply happy serving Krishna. He does not know or even care whatever care whether Krishna is God or not. He just wants to love Krishna, nor he is concerned with the fact that Krishna is omnipotent or that he is all pervasive. In Vrindavana, the cowherd boys and the gopis did not know whether Krishna was God or not, but they simply loved him, although they were not Vedantists, yogis, or karmis. They were happy because They were simple village girls and boys who wanted to see Krishna. This is a very highly elevated position called Sarvopadi Vinirmuktam Tat Paratvena Nirmalam, or the stage of purity in which one is liberated from all material designations. Although the yogis and jnanis are trying to understand God, they are not aware of their illusory condition. Maya Sukhaya Bharam Udvahato Vimudhan. They are fools because they are working hard or illusory happiness. There is no question of peace for them. The jnanis or speculators wanting to get relief from the hard work of this material world reject this material world. Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya. Their position is a little higher than that of the karmis because the karmis have taken this material world as everything. They say, here we shall be happy, and their dharma or religion consists of trying to make a peaceful atmosphere within this material world. The fools do not know that this has been tried for millions of years, but has never happened and never will happen. Now, can peace in the material world be possible when Krishna, the Creator Himself, says that this place is meant for trouble and miseries? Abrahma Bhuvanat Loka Punarvartino Arjuna Mam Upachya Chuk Kaunteya Punarjanmana Vidyate. From the highest planet in the material world down to the lowest, all the places of misery wherein repeated birth and death take place. Bhagavad Gita 8.60.
Continue, Mataji.
Yeah. Dukkhalayam Ashashvatam. Not only is this world full of suffering, but it is also temporary. One cannot simply agree to go ahead suffering the threefold miseries and stay here. Even that will not be allowed. In this world, he will not only be punished while staying here, but he will also be kicked out at the end. One may accumulate a large bank balance or an expensive home, a wife, children, and so many amenities, and he may think I'm living very peacefully. But at any day, he may be told, please get out. Why? He will ask, it is my house and it is paid for. I have money and a job and responsibilities. Why should I get out? Just get out. Don't talk. Get out. On that day, a man sees God. Oh, I did not believe in God. He may think, but now here is a God finishing off everything. Thus, it is said that the demonic recognize Krishna as death, for it is at that time that he takes everything away from them. Why do we want to see God as death? When the demon Hiranyakashipu saw Krishna, he saw him as death personified. But the devotee Prahlad saw him in his personal form as his beloved Lord. Those who challenge God will see him in his ghastly aspect, but those who are devoted to him will see him in his personal form. In any case, everyone will ultimately see God. Shall I continue?
Thank you,
Prabhu?
Mataji.
Yeah, Hare.
Yeah, thank you. So, Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Mrityu sarva haraschaham. I am the devouring death. I am the devouring death, taken away all of the things. Our properties, our families, our education, our body, everything. Mrityu sarva haraschaham. He takes everything away from all this. So he's devouring death. So demons looks like he's as a death, as a devotee's personal experience. Krishna is going to take me. Yeah, Krishna himself says, Yam yam vyapi, yam vapi smaran bhavam tyajate ante kalevaram tam tam yavati kauntaya sada tad bhava bhavita. whatever state of being one remembers at the time of death, he will attain that nature, that kind of body. If you remember Krishna, he will go back to God. But Krishna helps us, helps devotees. The entire life we have to practice devotional life. Then we'll be able to remember Krishna at the time of death. So, a few things. Dukkhalaya Shashvatam, the material world is designed for this. Everybody is suffering here and everybody is temporary. Everything is temporary here. Everything is temporary. All are suffering. It is happiness is there, but it's a mind little, and it's a flickering happiness. Prabhupada writes the word flickering happiness. Happiness cannot stay for some, it stays for some time and again that's it, gone. Anything, if take any happiness, food, it will give pleasure up to that point, hunger satisfied. Then again another, inko putak mali we have to take it, evening, dinner, whatever. Again we have to take, that is one experience. Sex desire, that's 10 minutes, maybe bodily happiness. So happiness in materialistic found happiness in these 4 categories: eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. So that is a temporary. And it's called Dukkhalaya Shashvatam. Material world is designed for that. Dukkhalayam Ashashvatam. Abrahma Bhuvanar Loka Punaravartinojina. All the material system designed for those Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadi. That is there. The problems are there in the material world. Even Brahma also has to change his body, his position. Brahma Bhuvanar Loka Punaravartinojina. What is that Punaravartino? Cycle of birth and death. Mamapetyati Kauntaya Punarjanmana Vidyate. From the highest planet in the material world down to the lowest, all are places of misery wherein repeated birth and death takes place. Mrityu Loka, that's why it's called Mrityu Loka. Material planets are like Mrityu Lokas. Yeah. Maya Sukha, that's the thing. Materialists works on, they are fools because they are working hard for illusory happiness. Illusory means illusion. What is the meaning of illusion? It looks like real. It looks like real happiness, but it's not. Maya Sukhaya Brahmam Udvahato Vimudhan. Udvahato Vimudhan. That's a illusory. See, material world, this material illusory nature, illusory. Maya, which is not. So many meanings. Maya, which is not. In that which is not, we can put everything actually. Which is not. How can we understand which is not? Our body is not ours. Whatever body connections, that relationship is not ours. But we feel that everything is permanent. Oh, they are going to stay with me forever. They are going to help. They are going. Which is not. This is all Maya. Yeah. But whereas Krishna Sama, Surya, Krishna is like sunlight. It dissipates all the darkness, illusory energy. The real nature, we are identifying our real father and we are serving him. So that's the thing. So this one more, Prabhupada writes this many times also. Sarvopadi vinirmuktam tatparatvena nirmalam. Stage of purity in which one is liberated from all the material designations. What are the material designations we see? I am this body. I am man. I am woman. I am African. I am American. I am Indian. I am a doctor. I am a software engineer. So these are all to the material designations. So when we perform bhakti away from them, we are just servant. That's it. Sarvopadi vinirmuktam tatparatvena nirmalam. We are liberated from that different material designation. That's where again, Jivara Swarupa Krishna Nityadas. So that's the thing. So let us continue. I think all of us read, except Radhika Mata, she is on the hearing mode. She is on. Hare Krishna Mataji, still. Thank you for joining, Radhika Mataji. Yes. Thank you, Mataji. Are you able to read or is it still in hearing mode? You would like to read?
Yeah, I'll read, Prabhuji.
Thank you so much. You can continue from this paragraph. Okay. Yeah. Well, after your reading, you let us come wind up the call.
A person who is honest can always see Krishna everywhere. Krishna says, try to understand me, try to see me everywhere. By way of facilitating this method, the Lord says, Nashu ham apsu kaunteya. I am the taste of water. When we are thirsty and need a glass of water, we can drink it and feel happy, understanding that the power of water to quench our thirst is Krishna. Similarly, as soon as there is sunrise or moonshine, we can see Krishna. For he says, Prabhashmi Shashi Surya Yo, I am the sun and moon. At a further stage, we can see Krishna as the life force within everything, as he indicates in Bhagavad Gita, Punyagandha Pritvyam cha Tejas chasmi vibhavaso Jivanam sarva bhuteshu tapaschasmi tapasvishu. I am the original fragrance of the earth, and I am the light in fire. I am the life of all that lives, and I am the penances of all the aesthetics. Once we understand that all things are dependent upon Krishna for their existence, there is no possibility of his ever becoming lost to us. In Bhagavad Gita, the Lord indicates that all things abide in him in both their beginning and in their end, and also in the interim state. एताद्यूनिनि भूतानि सर्वानिति उपधरय अहं कृष्णस्य जगत प्रभव प्रलयस्तथा मतः परं नान्यत् किंचित् अस्ति धनंजय. मयि सर्वम् इदं प्रोतं सूत्रे मणिगणा इव. Of all that is material and all that is spiritual in this world, know for certain that I am both its origin and dissolution. O conqueror of wealth, Arjuna, there is no truth superior to me. Everything rests upon me as pearls on a thread. Bhagavad Gita 7.67. Krishna is easily visible, but he is only visible to those who are devoted to him. For those who are envious, foolish, or unintelligent, he obscures himself with his veil of Maya. Naham prakasha sarvasya yoga maya samavrita mudho yam nabhijanati loko mam ajam avyayam. I am never manifest to the foolish and unintelligent. For them, I am covered by my eternal creative potency, Maya. Thus, the deluded world knows me, not who am unborn and infallible. This eternal creative potency or Yoga Maya, which obscures Krishna to the unintelligent, is dissolved by love. This is the verdict of Brahma Samhita. Premanjana Shurita Bhakti Vilochanena Santa Sadaiva Hridayeshu Vilokayanti. One who has developed love for Krishna can see him within his heart 24 hours a day. Those who thus see Krishna are not anxious because they know where they are going at death. One who has taken the gift of Krishna consciousness knows that he will not have to return to this material world to take another body, but that he will go to Krishna. It is not possible to go to Krishna unless one attains a body like Krishna's, a Satchitananda Vigraha body, a body full of eternity, knowledge, and bliss. One cannot enter into fire and not perish unless he himself becomes fire, and similarly, one cannot enter into the spiritual realm in a body that is not spiritual. In a spiritual body, one can dance with Krishna in the rasa dance like the gopis and the cowherd boys. This is not an ordinary dance, but the dance of eternity in the association of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Only those who have become purified in their love for Krishna can participate in it. One, therefore, should not take this process of Krishna consciousness as something cheap, but as a matchless gift bestowed upon suffering humanity by the Lord Himself. Simply by engaging in this process, all the anxieties and fears of one's life, which in actuality revolve about the fear of death, are allayed.
Thank you so much, Mataji. I think with these paragraphs, this book also done by reading, very nice. Thank you for reading, Mataji. Appreciate it. So let me add a few things. Actually, wonderfully quoted by Srila Prabhupada from the Bhagavad Gita. These two important verses. Etadi yonini bhutani sarvaniti upadharaya aham krishnasya jagata prabhava pralayastata matta parataram nanyat kinchidasya dhananjaya mai sarvam idam protam sutrimaniganaiva. of all that is material and all that is spiritual in this world. Know for certain that I am both its origin and dissolution. O conqueror of wealth, Arjuna, there is no truth superior to me. Everything rests upon me as pearls on a thread. Simple to understand is Krishna is everything. Bhagavad Gita spoken by Supreme Lord Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So Krishna is everything. How can we understand is everything? Is both. He created both material world and spiritual world. Then there is no truth superior to me. And he is Asamurdva. Is Asamurdva means nobody is equals to him and nobody is greater than him. His position is always in the master, supreme creator, supreme proprietor. Because he is created, he is proprietor. He is a proprietorship is there in all of these material and spiritual worlds. So, yeah. And 7.9 also, and before that also, actually, we can experience Krishna. How can we see? People are saying, "Did you see Krishna? Have you experienced? You know, did you see Krishna? Did you experience Krishna? Did you see Krishna? Have you ever seen God?" So these questions. Yeah, so this is what it is, no? Those who challenge God will see him in ghastly aspect, but those who are devoted to him will see him in a personal form. In any case, everyone will ultimately see God. The next quote, Prabhupada writes, a person who is honest can always see Krishna everywhere. So how can we understand that honesty? Krishna says, try to understand me, try to see me everywhere. By way of facilitating this method, the Lord says, it starts with Krishna himself says, the experience. When we take water, Rasoham apsu kaunteya, I am the taste of the water, right? When we are thirsty and need a glass of water, we can drink it, feel and happy. Understanding that the power of water to quench our thirst is Krishna. Similarly, as soon as there is sunrise or moonrise, we can see Krishna. What he's saying, Krishna himself says, he says, Prabhasmi Sashishuryayo. Sashi Surya Netram. Sashi Surya Netram. He says in another verse. Sashi Surya Netram. You can experience. Every day we experience sunshine. We see sunlight. So that is his creation. We can see that he is there. I am the sun and the moon. At a further stage, we can see Krishna is a life force within everything. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna himself says, Punyo Gandha Pratimvyam Cha Tejas Chasmi Vibhavaso Jivanam Sarva Bhuteshu Tapas Chasmi Tapas Vishu. I am the original fragrance of the earth. The smell come from earth, I am the light in fire. I am the life of all that lives. Life air, the soul. And I am the parents of all ascetics. So that is where we can experience. So see Krishna, we can see Krishna everywhere in his creation. While chanting, of course, devotional life is direct connection with Krishna. So these are his creation, his created things. Once we understand that all things are dependent upon Krishna for their existence, there is no possibility of his ever becoming lost to us. So that is a meditation. We just have to meditate. We just have to meditate how is creation, how I am dependent on his creation. We never ever become independent. Remember that. We are always dependent. The air we breathe, the food we eat, food coming from his material resources, material nature. So that's the thing, his position. That's where his position is established. Himself, he established himself. Otherwise, how can a person knows? Krishna himself established his position. I am the supreme creator. I am the everything I create, everything comes from me. Chatusloki Bhagavad Gita 10.8 talks about Aham Sarvasya Prabhu. What is that Aham? Aham means name, me. Sarva means both, all spiritual and material. Aham Sarvasya Prabhu. Matta Sarvam Pravartate Itimatma Bhajante Ma Buddha Bhava Samandita. I am the source of all spiritual and material worlds. Everything comes from me. And his position is Matta Parataram Nanyat Kinchidasya Dhananjaya. Mai Sarvavidam Protam Sutrimanigana. It's less like everything rests upon me as pulse on a thread. Right? Krishna is easily visible, but he is only visible to those who are devoted to him. For those who are envious, foolish, or unintelligent, he obscures himself with his veil of Maya. So this is what problem, He never manifests to these kind of persons. Envious, foolish, unintelligent. Naham prakasha sarvasya yoga maya samavrita moodoyam nabhijanati lokomam aja avyayam. I am never manifest. Directly he's saying, I don't like, I have never manifest to the foolish and unintelligent. For them, I am covered by my eternal creative potency, Maya. Thus, the deluded world knows me not, who am unborn and infallible. So in this material nature, everything born and fallible, changing, right? Is unchangeable and is infallible. But they don't know. These fools deride with unintelligent persons. And see, this eternal creative potency or yoga maya, which obscures Krishna to the unintelligent, is dissolved by love. So how can we get that? Through the love, we can this experience, the yoga maya. This is verdict of Brahma Samhita. Premanjanachita bhakti vilochane santa sadaiva hridayeshu vilokayanti. One who has developed love for Krishna can see him within his heart 24 hours a day. So awakening love. How can we do that? There is a wonderful verse I wanted to, with all of your permission, I will share that beautiful verse from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. Let me recite that. Let us recite that. I'm just sharing. Yes. How to awaken that. One who has developed love for Krishna, how to develop that love for Krishna, we can see that verse. One who has developed love for Krishna can see him within his heart 24 hours a day. It is straightforward paragraph, this we all know. So Krishna, those who does see Krishna are not anxious because they know where they are going at death. Devotees don't worry about death, okay? Devotee is happy to receive the death because they are completely engaged always in Krishna's service. It's a stage, the passing stage. Their eternal stage. They are looking for, Krishna's eternal service. They are doing eternally. They are always engaged 24 hours in this life. That doesn't matter for devotees. Krishna is going to take them. So that's the thing. One who has taken that. Please focus on this. Srila Prabhupada words are golden words. One who has taken the gift of Krishna consciousness knows that he will not have to return to this material world to take another body, but that he will go to Krishna. It is not possible to go to Krishna unless one attains body like Krishna's, Sachidananda Vigraha body, a body full of eternity, knowledge and bliss. One cannot enter into fire and not perish unless he himself becomes fire. Similarly, one cannot enter into the spiritual realm in a body that is not spiritual. So we have to prepare our body, spiritual body in this middle world. So entire life is a preparation. How do we prepare? Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, 9 activities. Navavida Bhakti. Yes. Yeah. In a spiritual body, one can dance with Krishna in that rasa dance like the gopis. Proper words. Giving an interest, of spiritual life. Showing a path. There is a life beyond this materialistic way of life. In a spiritual body, one can dance with Krishna in the rasa dance like the gopis and the cowherd boys. This is not an ordinary dance, but the dance of eternity, the association of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Only who have become purified in their love for Krishna can participate in it. One therefore should not take this process of Krishna consciousness as something cheap, but as matchless gift But as a matchless gift, that's why the book name is Krishna Consciousness, the matchless gift. But as a matchless gift bestowed upon suffering humanity by the Lord Himself. Simply by engaging in this process, all the anxieties and fears of one's life, which in actuality revolve about the fear of death, are allayed. So this is a matchless gift we have. So without delay, let me share this verse. Please repeat after me, okay? Nitya Siddha Krishna Prema Sadhya Ka Bhunaya. Please repeat after me. Yeah. Nitya Siddha Krishna Prema Sadhya Ka Bhunaya.
Nitya Siddha Krishna Prema Sadhya Ka Bhunaya.
Shavanadi Suddha Chitte Karaye Udaya.
Shavanati.
Siddha Chitte Karaye Udaya.
Two more times, okay? Let us see. Nitya Siddha Krishna Prema Sadhya Ka Bhunaya.
Nitya Siddha Krishna Prema Sadhya Ka Bhunaya.
Shavanadi Suddha Chitte Karaye Udaya.
Shravanadi Suddha Chitta Karaye Udaya.
One last time. Nitya Siddha Krishna Prema Sadhya Ka Bhunaya.
Nitya Siddha Krishna Prema Sadhya Ka Bhunaya.
Shavanadi Suddha Chitte Karaye Udaya.
Shravanadi Suddha Chitta Karaye Udaya.
Let me read word by word, then Samyukta Madam will translate. Okay. Nitya Siddha, eternally established, Krishna Prema, love of Krishna, Sadhya, to be gained, Kabhu, at any time, Naya, not, Shavanadi, by hearing, Suddha, purified, Chitte, in the heart, Karaye Udaya, awakens. Sacharan Madam.
Yes, Prabhuji. Translation. Pure love for Krishna is eternally established in the hearts of the living entities. It is not something to be gained from another source. When the heart is purified by hearing and chanting, this love naturally awakens. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mother. Hare Krishna. What is he saying? It is there. For Prabhupada writes, awaken dormant our love for Krishna. Awaken. We have to awaken through the hearing and chanting, the dormant love for Krishna. That is there in its hidden form. Because we are completely transmigrated, right? Our bodies transmigrated from one body to another body, and ultimately we achieved a human form of life. That is the understanding from Vedic literature. So, how do the dormant love for Krishna is there? Dormant, it's in hidden. How do we do that? How can we awaken that? By sincere chanting and hearing. The pure love Krishna will be awakened. It is eternally established. It's already there in our heart. That is our natural propensity to love Supreme Lord, our Master, Krishna. Pure love for Krishna is eternally established in the hearts of the living entities. It is not something to be gained from another source. It's natural. It's already there. It's not to be gained from something. When the heart is purified, how can a heart can be purified? By constant hearing and chanting. This love naturally awakens. The dormant love for Krishna will be awakened. Krishna, pure prema bhakti will begin. To start with, Shravanam Kirtanam, chanting the holy names of the Hare Krishna mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thank you so much for your attendance and giving opportunity to talk and, read Srila Prabhupada books regularly. Please come every, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, 1.5 hour. 6:30 to 8 o'clock. Sometimes, we are waiting for all the devotees to join, and we are starting at 6:50. So kindly join on time so that let us have a nice time by reading Srila Prabhupada books. Okay. Thank you so much again. Samyukta Mataji, Radhika Mataji, Sapan Prabhu, Pallavi Mataji, Neil Prabhu, Swapna Mataji. So thank you so much. And let us meet on Friday. Thank you, Mataji. So let us meet on Friday with new Srila Prabhupada. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyam Vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Anantakoti Vaishnavvrunda ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srila Gurudev ki jai, Nitai Gaur Hari Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. A happy Krishna conscious good night. Okay.
Yeah, thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you,
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji.